Hello, and thank you for joining us today for another episode of Things to Know Right Now. And today we are discussing paying for care. And joining us to explain options available for paying for care is our Medi-Cal expert, Lisa Ramsey, who's the owner of Medi-Cal Consulting Services. They are a team of former Medi-Cal workers with experiences that include successful appeals. They have been trained by the government and they know the landscape, for lack of better words. Lisa, welcome. I've known you a very long time. I'm so grateful, A, that you're doing what you're doing, B, that you're joining us this morning, and we're here to educate our audience on things to know right now that they probably otherwise don't know. So caring for someone with Parkinson's is very expensive. And the avenues that are available for paying for care, such as a care facility or paying for a spouse that is taking care of a person or a partner, it doesn't have to deplete all of the cash or available assets. What do they need to know?
Well, first of all, Medi-Cal is not really what people think. In my opinion, it's health care on steroids. And many people are eligible, but they think they're not because of so much misinformation that's been put out over the years. And some of that has come from the source itself. I mean, I don't know if you can believe this or not, but I know many people who have actually called the Medi-Cal office and gotten misinformation straight over the phone, telling them they don't qualify or whatever the reason is. It's just bewildering. And
it is.
It's
I can tell you this morning already, I've heard a couple of things that I know that we're going to get to today. And one of them is that they'll take your house. That's number one. Number two,
which is wrong.
Too much money to qualify.
Yeah.
So yes, and some of that did come directly from the so-called source. So yeah. Carry on. Good going.
Yeah. So as a former Medi-Cal eligibility worker, I've worked in 2 counties. So I've been through the extensive training twice. I really understand the system and the ins and outs, and I stay connected and informed. Matter of fact, just a few weeks ago, I went to a state-run conference that only people were invited to. It wasn't open to the public, and I thankfully was included in the invitation. From what I do, the years that I've been in this and the connections that I have and the participation, I am involved at the state level and in many arenas, as many as I'm able to, they allow me to, and I get involved and I try to help with legislation at the state analyst level, obviously at the Medi-Cal eligibility level. We're constantly trying to inform them, educate them, get them to make overturn wrong decisions. It goes on, and it's just sad. But the truth of the matter is, one of the major, if I could mention, just to get this off my plate and just put this out there, which is huge, is that on January 1st, 2024, which is just a little over 2 months away, Medi-Cal is making an unprecedented change. They are eliminating asset limits. So that means that everyone 65 years of age or older or on Medicare at any age will automatically be eligible. You just have to apply and get through the rigorous application process, which is what we do. And we could get people qualified. So there will no longer be any asset limits. You don't have to concern yourself with how much money you have in the bank or what your house is worth or anything like that. The only thing Medi-Cal is going to look at this point is your income. Now, your income is not going to disqualify you in any way. It's going to determine your share of cost. And share cost is like your cost of the care. It's the amount you need to pay every month. And then Medi-Cal will pay what's left over. It's like a deductible, like your car insurance. You pay your $1,000, insurance company pays the rest of the bill.
Let's go back just a second. And that new law, is that for a couple or is that for a single person?
Anyone, everyone.
All right, then carry forward then. Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then people are just not getting it. I've heard where people are hearing, oh, well, I heard that's not true in long-term care, or no, it's true for everyone. It doesn't matter if you're in a nursing home, you're at home, you're in assisted living, wherever you are receiving your care, it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant.
I love it.
So it's
Okay.
really exciting times, and people will be able to have assets in the bank and get help with their high cost of care, which
But
is what
there's still,
happens with Parkinson's.
yeah, so there still must be some sort of qualification process, meaning what do we need to teach our audience today? That they either need to know today in order, because some people are going to need Medi-Cal right now, and
Yeah.
others may need it after January of 2024.
Well, there's a lot of people that do qualify right now. And that's a really good point, Joe, because a lot of people think they're not eligible when in fact they are. And your house isn't counted. One vehicle is not counted right now currently. And retirement plans like 401k, IRAs, those kind of things can be considered unavailable. There's a lot of things. And if you are over the asset limit, there's always been many options which you can bring your assets within the limits. And so, being knowledgeable about Medi-Cal really allows me to be able to help people understand what viable options they have in order to qualify.
So there still should be planning toward this end. I mean, when someone is diagnosed with Parkinson's, we always want them to do life planning, financial planning, and how do you take care of the life and the finances and live to the greatest extent possible.
Right.
Is so right now the application process into Medi-Cal it's big. It's not a little process.
No,
But more than
it's
that,
very convoluted, and people will come and they'll tell me, "Well, I've completed the application. I have it right here. It's about 6, 7, 8 pages, but I've already completed it. What's the big deal?" And it's like,
well, there
well,
is, yeah. Tell them kind of what the big deal is. They put the wrong.
well, if you don't fill it out correctly, is of course can, cause your benefits not to be approved, but also dealing with Medi-Cal themselves can be very difficult. And there's a number of reasons why that comes to play. They've had a remote from work arrangement since the pandemic, and a lot of them are still working remotely. There's a lack of accountability, a lack of training, and it's just causing a lot of problems. They've always had a lack of training and accountability, but it's gotten worse over the years of through the pandemic, and allowing the eligibility workers to continue to work from home. I don't understand why people are still allowing people to work from home. I mean, everybody's situation, of course, is different, but when it comes to eligibility and the qualification process, it's very, very involved. And they need the support of their supervisors. Their supervisors need training, accountability. I mean, it just comes down the chain of command.
And so going back to the application process, then I think it's critically important, and you can say yay or nay, and it's not just because you're in this business, but I really suggest that they do not do this application by themselves, because
Oh, no.
if they fill out the wrong thing or say the wrong thing, that's what they're judged on the very first time out of the box. So to get that
Yeah.
undone takes years.
Well, it can be almost impossible to kind of go against something that they feel in their mind is the way it is when it's really not that way. I mean, I have a prime example of that right now with a gentleman I'm helping who has been diagnosed with delusional episodes. He fluctuates. Sometimes he's here, sometimes he's not. He seems like he's okay. He can carry on a conversation. But if you start asking him things like, oh, well, where do you live? Well, he's living in a nursing home, but he's going to tell you, oh, I live in Lake County with my wife, and I'm only here, 1 week out of the month, and 3 weeks out of the month, I go home and I spend time with my wife. She pays all my bills, da da da, and there's no wife. And I don't know of anyone that leaves a nursing home for 3 weeks out of the month and they're only there a week at a time. I mean, but Medi-Cal has heard this from him, and that's what they're sticking with. And so they refuse to give him benefits because the wife has not cooperated. She has not provided any information. There is no information about this mysterious person. So, this has been an ongoing saga. We're trying to battle and get Medi-Cal to realize that he doesn't know what he's talking about and he's confused.
Just confirms, don't do it alone. I mean, unless you're really savvy with Medi-Cal, it's not worth the time that you're going to waste trying to undo
Well,
something.
not only that, Joe, if you do happen to get it approved, you don't know if they made a mistake or not. Maybe they approved your benefits, but they didn't put you in the right program, or your share cost is not calculated correctly, which happens quite often. So, and since most people don't know the rules around share cost and how it's calculated, and there's various calculations, they're not just one figure, they're very complicated figures, especially when there's a spouse involved. When there's a spouse involved, there are so many options to help people. And so we strategize and we talk to them, we find out what's going on. There's different allocations that can occur, and different programs you can utilize to get that zero share cost. And that's the ultimate goal, is to get a zero share cost with Medi-Cal. It's not just about getting approved, but it's getting that zero share cost.
Yeah. So if someone, let me see, how do I put this? Is there a retroactive coverage? Meaning if someone started today, but they've already been in need of Medi-Cal before, is there a chance that they could apply today and be retroactively covered?
So that kind of is explained in two ways. So if you go to apply today, and today is October 23rd, 2023, your application date will be October 23rd. Your application month will be October. So when they go to actually approve benefits, which would potentially be 45 days from today, they're mandated to process an application in 45 days. So 45 days from today would be, let's see, November, December, maybe the first part of January. So in January, when they go to actually process the application and approve benefits, hopefully, they're going to go back to the first day of the month in which you applied in retroactively. So they'll go back to October the 1st and approve benefits ongoing. Now, you also have an option to request 3 months prior to that. So you could ask for 987 all the way back to July 1st.
Great.
So 3 months prior to the month of application.
Okay. Oh, that's good news, because some of that can be applied to other things on the basis they get it.
Absolutely. And there's also something where you can use unpaid medical bills. Like, so let's say you had a stint in a nursing home a year ago, and you still have a $30,000 bill that didn't get covered at that time, and now you're applying for Medi-Cal. There's a provision that allows us to take that unpaid medical bill and apply it towards your current share of cost. So there's a lot of things that have to come into play to kind of help all this come together, but those are all the kind of strategies we work and look at to help our clients save as much money as possible.
Yeah.
And having the expertise of working for Medi-Cal prior and then doing this for over 30 years now, I've got the know-how to help people understand how to strategize, how to make this work.
Yeah. You don't look like you're 30 yet, but that's okay.
I'm a grandma.
So most of us kind of know that Medi-Cal will cover nursing homes. If someone needs long-term care nursing home or a skilled nursing home.
And that's a good point, Joe, that you say it. Okay, so because nursing homes, they have all different types of names. They could be a rehabilitation hospital, an acute care center, nursing home, skilled nursing facility, health and wellness center. I mean, it's really how they market themselves.
But we're talking about skilled nursing, and that's where someone needs long-term care.
Right.
So Medi-Cal, we believe, I think in all the years we've been doing this, we've been able to teach people that that's what Medi-Cal is about, is to cover that long-term care, and how you get there is what we've talked about earlier today. Is there Medi-Cal that's available for a family outside of a skilled nursing facility?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. The aspects of eligibility of Medi-Cal, but then it goes into the programs and how these benefits work. And they're amazing. these programs truly are amazing and how they can help people. People just don't understand how to tap into them or even what to call them. Where do I start?
I know, and I keep telling people, long time ago, this foundation was created so that nobody would fall through the cracks. And this is what we're talking about. It's there. How to
Yeah.
get to it is critical information, and what to do once you get there as well. But
Yeah.
and it's planning to get there. All these things come into play.
So
So
let me answer that a little bit more in detail
okay,
for you. You had asked about long-term care. So yes, there's definitely help with Medi-Cal in a nursing home, long-term care facility, skilled nursing facility, acute care, rehabilitation hospital. It's all one and the same. But in addition to that, Medi-Cal can help with assisted living through the assisted living waiver program. There's over 50 pages full of communities that are participating in this program right now. There's also the IHSS program, in-home supportive services, that so many people take advantage of to keep their loved one from being institutionalized, keeping them home and getting the help at home. There's a ton of waiver programs that also provide services in the community to help. So there's a lot of help out there. You just got to know how to tap into it, how to qualify for it, and then request services from it.
yeah. I'm so happy that you're there, Lisa. You have no idea. I mean, all these years we're just growing better together, aren't we? Is there a difference between Medi-Cal for individuals and the resources that are available for married couples or domestic partners?
That's a very good question. And a registered domestic partner just got a new client the other day under that category, and Medi-Cal looks at them as they're married. So the same rules apply under a married couple as a registered domestic partner. But the benefits that are available are the same, whether you're married or single. So the benefits are the same, but how eligibility is achieved is what is grossly different. Huge. It's a huge difference.
Okay, good to know. So if you're in a domestic relationship, and
Your
I'm
registered domestic partner, officially, then you looked at as though you're married, and you have all the added benefits, so to speak, of being married. And it's really a benefit because of the HCBS waiver program. HCBS stands for Home Community Based Services, and that's what allows an ill spouse to be able to allocate income and assets to their well spouse so they don't become impoverished and be able to get the care that their ill spouse needs. And that's basically the idea of that waiver program and the spousal impoverishment rules.
Yeah, this always tickles my heart to have this knowledge. I just hope we're hitting enough ears that understand this
Yeah.
is really important things to know. So on that basis, then I think many people think that long-term care is covered by medical insurance or
Medicare, a lot of them think Medicare is going to cover them through everything. And
it
boy, do they
doesn't.
get a shocker when the
Yeah.
time comes and they need help and they now realize my Medicare is really falling short.
Well, any insurance. So if it's Blue Cross, Anthem, whatever, whoever it is, United, they do not cover long-term care or skilled nursing living. So
Yeah.
So we
It gets pretty complicated, especially with married couples. And there's a lot of strategies you can be used, and the scary thing, Jo, right now that I'm starting to see is that there are a lot of Medi-Cal advisors kind of starting to come out of the woodworks because as the assets are eliminated, they're thinking, oh, I can do this. I can help people and charge a fee to do this. But they don't really realize it's still pretty complicated when it
So
comes
there's
to
a
share
point
class
where
calculations.
we might ask you to write an article on how to choose a Medi-Cal consultant, huh? So that
Yeah, you really, in any kind of advisory position, whether it's Medi-Cal or wherever or whatever, you need to really ask the professional, what's your background? What's your major focus of your business? If they say, oh, well, I'm a financial advisor, but I help people with Medi-Cal too, or I'm an attorney, but I also do Medi-Cal applications. It's like, what is your primary source of your experience, because this Medi-Cal stuff can get very complicated and
and it
people
also
are
change it
thinking that it's
changes
not.
changes regularly. There's another area that we need to touch on today, and that is Veterans Aid and Assistance, Aid and Attendance Program. I
Yeah,
think
we can't
you know
get the word
something
out
about,
enough on that one, huh, Joe?
you know some stuff about that?
Oh, yeah. So the VA aid and attendance, we do mention that actually in the 18-minute video because I am just a huge proponent of trying to get that out to the public. People need to be aware that if you are a veteran or you're a surviving spouse of a veteran, you're a widow, your husband or your wife served in the military and they've now passed away and left you as a widower. You didn't divorce them because if you divorce them, you've divorced yourself away from the benefits, unfortunately. But if you were married to them when they passed, then you could be eligible to this aid and attendance. Now, as the widow or widower, the benefit is over $1,400 a month right now. And as a veteran, it's over $2,000 a month that the VA will send you in the form of a check every month to help pay for care in your home, if that's what's happening, or if you want to move into an assisted living community of your choice. You don't have to be VA accredited or anything like that. Wherever you choose, if you're paying for assisted living, then you could qualify for this benefit. And there are county service offices that the veterans county service offices throughout the entire state that can help educate people on this benefit to see if they're eligible. And there's a lot of nonprofits. Well, I don't know about a lot, but there's, a handful of nonprofits out there that do help with the application process and charge a fee for that assistance. You want to make sure you're working with a reputable entity to make sure that, they're taking care of you in the manner that you believe.
Now, I think aid and attendance is pretty national. You practice primarily or only in California?
Yes, Medi-Cal is really just for California. Absolutely.
And aid and attendance is universal.
Nationwide, yeah. So
Okay.
I cover all 58 counties.
So what does somebody outside of California need to think about or know or about their Medicaid issues?
So Medicaid is the federal program. Here in California, we call our Medicaid program Medi-Cal. Different states call it different things. Like in Arizona, it's called All-Tex. They have different names for it, but it's basically the federal Medicaid program. And every state is different in how their qualification works and what programs are available through their Medicaid program. California has the best benefits out there.
Yeah,
And after the first, it's going to be the easiest to qualify for.
The pros and cons of this state, huh?
Right?
So,
Yeah.
I just need to tell our audience that you probably can answer questions across the nation, at least in giving guidance to somebody as to what they should think about.
Yeah.
Think about going to type thing. You could help with the aid and attendance if necessary, but on the Medi-Cal issue, there is just, in my mind, nobody that can do this better than you. So,
Oh, you're so sweet. Okay.
so I need to tell everybody that you are in the Wellness Village or on the Wellness Village on our website. So there's a URL that'll be showing, and we're going to add your YouTube 18-minute video if we can. And the Wellness Village is where you go to look for resources like this that are very important and critical to long-term care. So Lisa, I can't thank you enough for joining us the many years that we've been working together. We used to do this in a in-person basis, however many years ago. Thanks for hanging in with us.
You look great, Joe. You haven't aged one day since I met you.
Thank you. We can just sit here and do that all day long, huh? We love it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
well, if you do something you love, it doesn't feel like work.
Exactly. So I want everybody to know that they can like this video because it's going to be on YouTube. They can subscribe to our channel, and they can get the latest information that they need by going to our website, where the Wellness Village, the Memorial Wall, the news and monthly newsletter, all this information is there. We suggest that you get to our hub and learn about all of the things that are available to you when you are diagnosed with Parkinson's. You'll get to meet Lisa directly at a village meeting. You'll see her articles in the newsletter. it's the best that we can do, provide you with as much information as you need or want to get through the journey of Parkinson's. So Lisa, thank you so very much for being on board with us today. And I'll look forward to seeing you in the near future.
Oh, I can't wait, Jo. Thanks. You're
Thank
amazing.
you. Bye.